In today's video, I'm giving you the official Ashe guide for Year 8 Season 2 Operation Dread Factor. The first thing I'm going to talk about is Ashe's playstyle. What type of person do you need to be able to play Ashe, and what type of playstyle do you need to be able to play her effectively? Well, first of all, she is an entry fragger. That is her role in the game. If you don't know what an entry fragger is, essentially there are three different types of roles in the game. There's entry fraggers, support, and there's flex. But essentially, there are people that are meant to support the team with utility and people that are meant to get kills. Ashe is an operator meant to get kills. This being said, the type of person that you need to be is a very aggressive playstyle person with typically good gun skill as well. Not only do you need good gun skill because she's an entry fragger and she's a 3-speed, but also because she has great guns, and that is honestly the main selling point of her kit. Her weapons are really good, with the R4C being great for close range fights with its high rate of fire, and the G36C being an all-around great gunfight weapon with a 1.5 times scope and its low recoil. With these two guns, you can pretty much do anything that you would need to. On shorter close range maps or close range routes on said maps, you would use the R4C, and on longer range maps, you would use the 1.5 times scope on the G36C. This being said, Ashe is meant to be played very aggressively. She's meant to take gunfights immediately as they're given to her, as opposed to somebody like a support player who, as soon as they see an operator, they want to use their utility to open up something for the entry fraggers to then be able to follow up with. Now that we've gone over her general playstyle, let's go over her actual utility, which is the ranged soft breaching charge. This is mainly used to destroy either soft destruction or anything that is bulletproof, mainly deployable shields and zombie barricades being the main victim of her utility. One thing that's noteworthy about Ashe is the fact that the size of her breaching charge is actually very big compared to her counterpart Zofia, who has a breaching charge, but it's a lot smaller. The trade-off though is that Ashe's is a lot louder. So Ashe, like I said in the playstyle section of the video, is a much more run and gun, loud, in-your-face, aggressive operator than somebody like Zofia, who's a bit more slow and methodical with her utility. This being said, because of how big Ashe's breaches are, there's a lot more versatility opened up with what you can do with them. First of all, let's talk about using her to destroy deployable shields. This is the most common use of Ashe that you'll see. Whenever you're picking Ashe, it's usually because you see that there's a deployable shield set up on the map and you want to be able to clear it and then run at the person behind the deployable shield with your R4C or your G36C. This is the primary playstyle of Ashe and how you need to be using her. You use her to destroy a really important piece of utility on the defense and then immediately run in with your gun and your 3-speed operator and clean up the defense. Now, typically the only issue is the fact that she's countered by Jaeger and Wamai. So if you just ask a teammate to bring flashes or something to burn the ADSs or magnets, then it's pretty much free range to do what you want to do with this strategy that I've just laid out for you. The second way that you can use Ashe is to play her vertically. Now, this is a much less popular way to play Ashe because there are other operators that do this better, namely Buck and Sledge, but it's still a viable option with certain strategies. The way you would do this essentially is you open up the breach and you immediately peek it. This is contrary to how other vertical operators play. Normally, as other vertical operators, you make a bunch of holes and then you peek said holes, that way they don't know where you're coming from. With Ashe, she only has 2 breaches that are very large and very loud, and she's super fast, meaning that she can open a breach and immediately peek it to then get a kill off of because of how fast her breaches and her operator is. You can't do this with Sledge or Buck. If you make a hole with Buck, you then have to take the time to peek the hole and to switch to your main AR if you want to shoot them. By this time, if a good defender is just going to look up at you and shoot you. The same thing with Sledge. Sledge has to put away his hammer, and he's also a 3 armor, meaning that he has no time at all to peek the holes if he doesn't want to die immediately. So these two operators have to make holes and then peek the holes that they make afterward. With Ashe, you just immediately peek the hole that you make, which is very good if you have information. Let's say that your teammate lion scans, Dokkaebi calls, Z pings on a drone, it doesn't matter. If you have information, you can go beneath with an Ashe charge and shoot through the Ashe charge and get easy kills. So that is the second way that you can play Ashe. Now, how good is Ashe really right now? If we talk about the meta currently, the meta is very friendly to running and gunning. This is Ashe's main point of how she plays. She's meant to just run in and gun people with the use of her utility occasionally to destroy a deployable shield or a zombie barricades, like I said in the beginning of the video. This meta is very fast-paced, meaning that she fits very well into this meta and is honestly the reason why I'm making this guide. There are 2 other operators that are also very meta right now, that being Lion and Dokkaebi. Lion and Dokkaebi are really good paired up with Ashe, so if you have a duo, tell them to run Lion or Dokkaebi, give you a call or give you a scan, and you can use that information to further help your gunfights when you run in with Ashe. There's tons of other combinations that you can use as well when it comes to Ashe and another person, or maybe if you have a third teammate teammate 2 people. So I would experiment with tons of different operators. We have the Lion and Dokkaebi combo, we have Ashe and Ying, we have Ashe and Jackal, Ashe and Blitz. There's tons of different combos that you can use to pair Ashe up with, because as Ashe mainly, you're just a gun. She has 2 really good guns, and that's really the main selling point of her entire operator, is good guns and the aim that comes behind those good guns if you're good at aiming. So like I said, for this tip, try to pair her up with different operators. There's so many combinations that you can choose from, and you don't even need to be duo queued or trio queued. You can just ask a solo queue teammate, because one of the most important things to do with Ashe, or just with this game in general, is to communicate with your teammates. A well-timed Ashe push can be much more effective than a Thermite Thatcher opening the wall and no communication. Communication is vital in this game, but it can be especially deadly paired up with an operator like Ashe, who is a high-risk, high-reward operator. You lessen the risk of an Ashe rush or an Ashe push in general if you have the comms and the teamwork behind it. So not only do I recommend duo queuing, trio queuing, or playing her in a stack, but I recommend, even if you are solo queuing, to get a mic and just comm with your teammates. If any single piece of information I wanted to get across to you in this video, that is the most important one, is you need to communicate rushes. You can't just run in whenever you want to. And this brings me to my final point. You need to time her rushes correctly. Even if you don't have good communication, there's still a time and a place to Ashe rush. And contrary to what you might think, it's not the first 30 seconds in a round. Like I said, communication is extremely important, but if you don't have that via comms or via Discord or a party chat in PlayStation or Xbox, you need it through intel, whether this be through droning or any cameras that Brava hacks, or just yellow pings in general from operators through their eyeballs. You need information, because you need to know what the setup is, how you can counter the setup, where the operators are, what operators they're playing, what's reinforced, what you're able to push, and so on. What you do with Ashe specifically is you find a weakness in the defense, or you find a deployable shield that's next to a weakness, and you attack that weakness. So I'll give you a great example. If we have a bomb site and everyone is holding one bomb site, but there's like maybe one person on the other one with no utility, as Ashe, you need to identify that weakness, you need to drone out, make sure the area is okay, and then immediately go in and start prioritizing kills. That is your job, again, like I said earlier, is just to plainly get kills, but identifying that weakness early on of where you need to be pushing is vital and extremely important, and using information to get there will make your job easier, and it'll make your job more effective and give you a higher chance of winning the round. With that being said, Ashe is a very simple operator, so there's not much really that I could have talked about in this video. So that being said, that is completely it for the Ashe guide. I have a bunch of operator guides that I'll link at the very end of the video, so stick around to the end for that. My name's Alka, sub the channel down below. I also stream on Kick now, which is pretty cool. I also stream live on TikTok, so follow my TikTok as well. I just got moved into the content house, so I'm super excited, and I'm going to be pumping out content way more than before. And that's it. I'll see you on the next one. Later.